Hello, my dear student. Good morning. Assalamu alaikum. Hope you all are quite okay and fine. I am also very fine. Welcome you all to my today online class. Before going to start my today's lecture, first of all, I would like to introduce myself to all of you. My name is Mohammad Ghulam Murshid, lecturer of biology, Milestone College, Uttara Dhaka. Today I am going to discuss about your chapter 1, that is animal diversity and classification. Today, basically, I am going to discuss about some of the most important characteristic features of the phylum Annelida, Mollusca, Arthropoda, and Echinodermata. If you look at the figure here, you can see some of the most important peculiar animals belongs to the phylum Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, and Echinodermata. Now, let's see some of the peculiar animals belongs to the phylum of non-chordata. Now, the learning output. After completing this lesson, students should be able to classify the animal up to phylum, tell the characteristics of animals. Now let's say some of the most peculiar animals belongs to the phylum Annelida. Actually, Annelida comes from Latin word that is annulus, which means small ring. Now let's discuss about some of the most important characteristic features of phylum Annelida. Number one, the body long, bilateral symmetry, true coelomate. Number two, main excretory organ is nephridia. Number three, locomotory organ is city or parapodia. Trochophore larva is found in their life cycle. Now let's discuss about each and every important characteristic features briefly. The first of all, I would like to discuss here. The body is actually long, bilateral symmetry, and true coelomate. If you look at the figure here, you can easily understand that the body is actually long. The body is bilateral symmetrical because this body can be divided into two identical left and right half, along with central axis only one plane. And the true coelomate is actually, these are the coelomate animal because the body cavity is lined by mesodermal peritoneum layer. As you know that the coelom is the internal body cavity which is lined by mesodermal peritoneum layer, and it is present in between the alimentary canal and the body wall. So uh, animals belongs to the phylum Annelida are actually true coelomate animals or eucoelomate animals. Now the second characteristic features is the main excretory organ is nephridia. The nephridia is an organ which is responsible for eliminating nitrogenous waste materials from the body of the adult animal. Now, another very important characteristic features of the Annelida is the locomotory organ is city or periphery. If you look at the figure here, you can easily understand that in case of some animals, there are city present which act as a locomotory organ, but in case of some animals, there are parapodia present that act as a locomotory organ. Now, the trochophore larva is found in their life cycle. Now, the examples of Annelida. Nereis caudata, Hirudinaria melirensis. Now, let's discuss about another very important characteristic, very important phylum, that is Arthropoda. Uh, Actually, we all are very familiar to the phylum Arthropoda. If you look at the figure here, there are some uh, animals you see here in the screen, and all elements are under the phylum Arthropoda. Actually, Arthropoda is comes from the Greek word arthron, which means joint, and podos means foot. Actually, Arthropoda bears the jointed leg. Now let's discuss about some most important characteristic features of the phylum Arthropoda. Number one, jointed appendages. This is the number one or main characteristic feature of the phylum Arthropoda. Metamerism, bilateral symmetry, and tagma presence. Head contains compound eye and antennae. Cuticular exoskeleton is found. Molting is regular. Main excretory organ is Malpighian tubules. Hemocoel is filled with blood. Now let's discuss about each and every characteristic features briefly. Number one, the jointed appendages, metamerism, bilateral symmetry, and tagma presence. Let's see the figure here. You can easily understand that the appendages are actually jointed, and metamerism is also found because the body is divisible into numerous segments or consisting of numerous segments, and special tagma is also present here. Some segments of their body are combined to form a specialized body part like head, thorax, and abdomen. And in case of some animals belongs to the phylum, the body is divisible into three distinct regions, that is head, thorax, and abdomen. But in case of some animals, the body can be divided into two distinct regions, that is cephalothorax and abdomen. But in case of arachnids, like a spider, the body is divisible into two distinct regions, that is called prosoma and opistosoma. And they are also bilateral symmetry because they can be divided into two identical left and right half along with only one axis, only one plane. Now let's discuss about another very important characteristic feature, that is head contains compound eye and antennae. Cuticular exoskeleton is found, molting is regular. Exoskeleton means they don't have any internal skeleton, but the animals belongs to the phylum is actually covered with hard cuticular exoskeleton, which is made up of chitin, and the molting is regular. Molting means during the larval stage, the shading of the exoskeleton is a regular process. After 4 or 5 times shading of the exoskeleton, a larva is give rise to a normal adult animal. Main excretory organ is Malpighian tubules. They actually, if you look at the figure here, the Malpighian tubules act as a main excretory organ in case of Arthropoda animal. And these are actually yellowish in color and the tubular in shape, and is present in between the midguard and the hindguard. Now the hemocoel is filled with blood. Actually, arthropods animals are actually coelomate animal, but the internal body cavity or coelom is actually filled with blood. That's why these types of coelom is sometimes called the hemocoel. Now examples of the arthropoda: Poecilocera pictus, the Julas terrestris. Now let's discuss about another very important non-coated phylum, that is mollusca. And actually mollusca comes from the Latin word molluscus, which means soft. Actually body of these animals belongs to the phylum are actually very soft in structure. Now let's discuss about some important characteristic features of the mollusca. Body is soft, bilaterally symmetrical, unsegmented, and covered with shell. Ventral body wall specialized as a muscular foot. Dorsal body wall forms pair of fold called mantle, which enclosed the mantle cavity. Body is soft, bilaterally symmetrical, and unsegmented and covered with shell. If you look at the figure here, you can easily understand that. If you think about the pila or the snail, this body is actually soft but is covered with the hard shell or hard covering, which is made up of calcium carbonate. And they are also called the bilateral symmetrical because the body can be divided into two, left and right half, along with only one plane. Now let's discuss about another very important characteristic features, that is ventral body wall specialized as a muscular foot. If you look at the figure here, you can easily understand that the specialized muscular foot is present in case of mollusca animal, and the foot is actually responsible for locomotion purpose. And the dorsal body wall forms pair of fold called mantle, which enclose the mantle cavity. The radula is found in the digestive system. A special types of structure, radula, is found in the digestive systems. Now, some of the examples of the mollusca: Pila globosa, which is commonly known as the snail, and the octopus, macropus. Now, let's see or discuss about another important phylum, that is echinodermata. Actually, echinodermata comes from the Greek word echinos, which means spine, and derma, which means skin. And actually, this whole body is actually covered with spine. Now, let's discuss about some of the most important characteristic features of echinodermata phylum. The body unsegmented, pentamerous symmetrical, endoskeleton with specule, water vascular system is present, and locomotor organ is 2 feet. Oral and aboral site can be detected. And the first characteristic feature, that is body unsegmented, pentamerous symmetrical. If you look at the figure here, you can easily understand that body is actually unsegmented. No segmentation is found in case of echinodermata phylum. And body is pentamerous symmetrical because, or this is called the radial symmetrical. The body is can be divided into 5 equal half in more than one plane. Now, endoskeleton with spicule. Water vascular system is present and locomotor organ is 2 feet. Special types of system, that is called the water vascular system, is only found in case of echinodermata phylum, and the locomotor organ is 2 feet. Oral and aboral site can be detected. Now, the examples of the echinodermata: Antidon bifida, and Echinus esculentus. Now the teamwork. Group A, write down two characteristics of above animals. Group B, write down two characteristics of above animal. Now the evaluation. It has rained. It has rained. Dr. Hassan saw that some tubular and segmented animals have come out from the earth. He also observed that small animals with 6 legs and with 2 pairs of wings stay on his hand. Dr. Hassan said to his daughter, the animal staying on my hand belongs to a special phylum which plays a vital role in our economy. A. What is Malpighian tubule? B. What is meant by water vascular system? C. Describe the characteristics of phylum of the firstly mentioned animal. D. Analyze the significance of the statement of the Dr. Hassan. Now the homework. Write down the two characteristics of each phylum. Thank you everybody for your passion sharing. I think today's lecture was very much effective lecture for all of us. I am humbly requesting you all to watch my video lecture for several times so that you can understand each and every topic that had already discussed here today. If you face any problem, or if you have any queries regarding my today's lecture, don't hesitate to ask me, or you can ask me anytime, or you can also ask your respective subject teacher regarding your query. Thank you all.